Welcome to the podcast, Let the Prophet Speak. Today we continue our study of the second book of Samuel, that is Shmuel Bet. We are in chapter 21. We are at verse 15. We just read the difficult story of the Gibeonites' demand to kill 7 of Saul's descendants. Now, the rest of this chapter, it's kind of just wrapping up some episodes from David's reign. It's not clear when exactly these things happened. One can try to make some assumptions from different things, but it seems pretty clear that it's just kind of mentioning some significant episodes before we end the story of David's career and life. So, Vatihi od milchama la Plishtim et Yisrael. There was another war between the Philistines and Israel. And there were plenty such wars and battles that we've read about. Vayered David va'avadav imo, and during this battle, David and his servants with him went to wage his battle. Vayilachamu et Plishtim, and they waged war against the Philistines. Vayoaf David, and David became tired. It would seem that David grew tired. David must have been older. This must have been closer to the end of his career. V'yishbi and Benov, and there was somebody by that name, Bilidei Harapha, who was one of the children of Rapha. It's unclear what this means exactly. Could mean Rephaim of the giants, or it could mean a person's name. Rabbinic tradition has this as Orpah, the other daughter-in-law of Naomi, Ruth, from the days of Ruth's sister-in-law. But because Orpah would have this two of the same letters in the root. But regardless of either a person or just means it more likely would mean one of the giants. Umishkal keino shelo, just because of the context. Umishkal keino shalosh meos mishkal nachoses. The weight of his spear was 300 copper weights or bronze weights. V'hu chagur chadasha, and he was wearing a new belted or armor. Vayomer lahakot David, and he wanted to kill David. So David was exhausted, tired, and this great, big, mighty warrior with this massive spear was coming after David. Vaya'azar lo Avishai ben Tzeruya, and Avishai ben Tzeruya was very loyal to David, although he was also very rash and quick to anger. But in this case, that worked to his aid. He was quick to act and helped out David and save him by Yachet HaPlishti, and he struck down the Philistine Vayimiteo and killed him. So Az nishbu'u anshe David lo leimar, and at that point, David's men, David's supporters, they swore to him as follows: Lo tetzei odi tana milchama, do not come out to war with us any longer. V'lo techabet ner Yisrael, so that the light of Israel should not be put out. So, on most of David's career, he led the battles. We saw what happened when he decided not to lead the battles in the days of Bathsheba, where that terrible event happened, and David was criticized at that point for not going out to battle. But then he went back to battle. But now he's too old. Now it's finally time for him to stay back and not join them, simply because he would put himself in too much danger. It's time to let his troops do the fighting. It was after that, another episode. Vati od hamilchama begov im Plishtim. There was another war in Gov against the Philistines. Az hika sibchai hachushati. At that point, it was when Sibchai the Hushati, another person who we hear now, one of David's soldiers, presumably at Saf, he killed another person whose name was Saf, Asher Bilidei Harapha, who was also one of the children of the Rapha, one of the children of these giants is how I'm translating it, but it's unclear if that's exactly what it means. Vati Oda Milchama, and then there was another war. This is verse 19. Begov im Plishtim, also in the place of Gov, together against the Philistines. Vayach et Elchanan ben Ya'arei Orgim This was all Elchanan, who was the name of this warrior, the son of Ya'arei Orgim, Beit Halachmi, from Bethlehem. So he was a landsman. He was from the same hometown as David. At Goliath Hagiti, he struck down Goliath Gittite, which makes us wonder what relationship there may have been with this Goliath, with the famous Goliath from the previous story of David killing Goliath. His spear was large, like the tool that a weaver uses. Now, this is a curious story because we had another Goliath Hagiti who was killed earlier on. Is this another? Maybe Goliath is just a popular Philistine name. Maybe it's a title of some sort. Who knows? But and he's described in a similar way. Some traditions have this Elchanan. Maybe this is just another name for David, and this is just a repeat of the same story. But then why say it again here? This leaves a lot of questions. But regardless, this is the story. That's how it's written. Vahati od milchama begat. Again in Gat, another war happened, another battle. Vayhi ish madon, and there was a man of great measure, a very large man. So all this emphasis on large and large and large makes one think that this Yulad, that the children of Rapha, refers to the children of the giants. Vayhi ish madon, there was a man of a very large measure, very tall. The etzbaot yadav, and the fingers on his hand, the etzbaot raglav, and the fingers on his feet, sheish v'sheish, were 6 on each hand and 6 on each foot. Esrim v'arbabim mispar, with a total of 24 digits. V'gam hu yulad lo harafa, and he was also born of the giants, or born from the Rapha, whatever the Rapha is. Vayicharef et Yisrael, and he said things against the people of Israel, which again reminds us of the story of Goliath in the story, in the original story that we read of David when he killed Goliath, that he was saying all kinds of nasty things and making fun of the people of Israel and jeering at them, etc. So again, here he was jeering at the people of Israel, and at this time, Vayakehu Yonatan ben Shema achi David. Yonatan, the son of Shema, or sometimes known as Shimei, who was the brother of David. So this one was killed by then. All these 4 were born to the Rapha, begat and Gat, and they were all killed by either David or by his servants. Now, all of these stories were actually killed by David's servants, not by David himself. But when servants kill in honor of a king or while fighting for a king, the king gets some of the credit, and that's just the way it goes. So this concludes chapter 21. The next chapter will be a very different change. Thank you for studying this together with me. Looking forward to studying chapter 22 and, of course, the rest of the book of Samuel together.